Hello, I'm Gene Dodaro, Acting Comptroller General of the United States and head of the U.S. Government Accountability Office, or GAO. As the National Audit Organization of the U.S. government, we value this opportunity to share an overview of our organization, the results of our work, and the important lessons we have learned in evaluating the efficiency and effectiveness of U.S. government programs, policies, and activities.
Our mission is to support the Congress in meeting its constitutional responsibilities and to help improve the performance and ensure the accountability of the federal government for the benefit of the American people. We provide Congress with timely information that is professional, objective, fact-based, nonpartisan, non-ideological, fair, and balanced. To accomplish this effort, we hold firm to strict professional standards, and our core values of accountability, integrity, and reliability are reflected in all of the work we do. All facts and analyses in our work are thoroughly checked for accuracy. Through our work, we advise Congress and the heads of executive agencies about ways to make government more efficient, effective, and responsive. Overall, our work each year leads to tens of billions of financial benefits to our government and over 1,000 other improvements in federal programs and operations that help benefit the American people. The U.S. General Accounting Office was established in 1921 under the Budget and Accounting Act, which was aimed at improving federal financial management after World War I. The Act made GAO independent of the executive branch and gave it a broad mandate to investigate all matters relating to the receipt, disbursement, and application of public funds. In other words, GAO has broad authority to investigate how federal funds are spent. Today, performance audits, program evaluations, and policy analyses and other non-financial audit-related work account for over 90% of GAO's workload. In 2004, the agency changed its name from the General Accounting Office to the Government Accountability Office to reflect the agency's broader mission. GAO has also adopted a more active role in identifying key trends and emerging challenges for the nation as a whole, and to focusing on a range of insight and foresight-related activities. The agency has also adopted a philosophy of leading by example and partnering for progress. GAO is a legislative branch agency separate from the executive branch agencies that it reviews. When GAO issues a report, it goes directly to Congress as well as the American public. This helps protect GAO's independence. In addition to GAO's location in the legislative branch, there are other factors that help the agency maintain its independence. First, the Comptroller General is selected through a bipartisan, bicameral process involving both the legislative branch and the President. The Comptroller General has one of the longest terms of office in the U.S. government, 15 years, and can only be removed by impeachment or a joint resolution of Congress for specific reasons. Second, all GAO staff, with the exception of the Comptroller General and the Deputy Comptroller General, are civil servants rather than political appointees.
Hello, my name is Gary Keplinger, and I serve as the Government Accountability Office's General Counsel. As you know, GAO serves the U.S. Congress. In fact, the vast majority of our work is either requested or mandated by the Congress. The nature of our work is wide-reaching. Our engagements may be as straightforward as determining whether a federally funded program is complying with the law, or as complex as identifying best practices across several different federal agencies and programs.
GAO uses a strategic planning and management framework to conduct its work. The agency has 4 main goals. Strategic Goal 1 is to provide timely, quality service to the Congress and the federal government to address current and emerging challenges to the well-being and financial security of the American people. Strategic Goal 2 is to provide timely, quality service to the Congress and the federal government to respond to changing security threats and the challenges of global interdependence. Strategic Goal 3 is to help transform the government by supporting a broad-based re-examination of federal programs. Strategic Goal 4 is to maximize the value of GAO by being a model federal agency and a world-class professional services organization. Most of GAO's work, about 90%, is requested or mandated by the U.S. Congress. Many of these requests and mandates are informed by our strategic planning process and ongoing dialogue with our congressional clients. GAO also reserves a limited portion of its resources for work initiated under the Comptroller General's statutory authority. These resources may be used to invest in significant current or emerging issues that could affect the nation's future or address issues of broad interest to the Congress, with an emphasis on longer-range, cross-cutting, and transformational issues. GAO's work can be grouped into 4 main categories: oversight, insight, foresight, and adjudication. Often, a GAO review may involve work in more than one category. When GAO is conducting oversight, it is determining whether government entities are carrying out their assigned tasks, spending funds for intended purposes, and complying with laws and regulations. An example of oversight work would be GAO's review of the military service's compliance with force health protection requirements. GAO's insight work involves determining which programs and policies work and which do not. This work often involves sharing best practices and benchmarking information horizontally across government and vertically through different levels of government. An example of GAO's insight activities would be the agency's work to improve federal government processes for responding to disasters, such as a major hurricane or an influenza pandemic. Foresight activities involve identifying key trends and emerging challenges facing the United States and its position in the world before they reach crisis proportions. These trends and challenges might relate to issues such as fiscal challenges, significant demographic changes, or development in information technology. A very small but important part of GAO's work involves adjudication. GAO is charged with resolving disputes over the awarding of federal contracts. This responsibility is known as bid protest resolution. GAO also issues legal opinions and decisions, especially in the area of appropriations and budget law. GAO's work is governed by 3 sets of protocols. The congressional protocols govern GAO's interactions with our client, the U.S. Congress. The agency protocols provide clearly defined and transparent policies and practices in how GAO interacts with agencies in performing its work. The international protocols are general principles and policies governing international work undertaken by GAO. These 3 sets of protocols provide clear policies and procedures that GAO follows when interacting with outside entities. Similarly, GAO's 5-step engagement process provides internal policies and procedures that GAO analysts follow when conducting engagements. Phase 1 is called acceptance. During this phase, GAO's senior executives use the criteria contained in the congressional protocols described earlier to determine which congressional requests to accept. At Phase 2, called Planning and Design, GAO takes steps to ensure that the engagement is properly staffed, that there are no conflicts of interest, and that the proper internal stakeholders have been identified. During this phase, the engagement team ensures that external entities, such as Inspectors General and GAO's sister agencies, the Congressional Budget Office and the Congressional Research Service, are not doing duplicative work and notifies directly affected parties, such as the executive branch agencies implementing the program to be reviewed. The team also prepares an audit plan. During Phase 3, or Data Gathering and Analysis, the engagement team gathers and analyzes data or evidence in a way that leads to findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Along with stakeholders and key senior staff in the mission team, the engagement team agrees on a message for the report. During Phase 4, Product Development and Distribution, one of the senior executive directors in the mission team reviews the first draft of the report to ensure that it is consistent with GAO's core values and professional standards. The team provides the draft report to agencies and other directly affected parties in order to solicit their comments on the draft. At the end of this phase, the final report or testimony is processed and published. With the exception of products with classified, restricted, or sensitive data, GAO makes the product public on the GAO external website, www.gao.gov. Phase 5, Results, is the final phase in the engagement process. During this phase, the engagement team follows up on the status and closure of any recommendations contained in the published product.
Hello, and welcome to the Government Accountability Office. I'm Sally Ann Harper, and I serve as GAO's Chief Financial and Administrative Officer. We are happy to provide you with an overview of GAO and hope that this presentation has been informative. In this section of the presentation, you will hear about GAO's organizational structure, including an overview of the different offices and teams that comprise our agency.
Over the past decade, GAO has significantly transformed its operations to ensure sufficient resources are available to meet the increased demand for our work. These efforts are especially critical now, given the country's growing fiscal challenges and the rising public expectations for results. By cultivating an organizational culture that eliminates inefficiencies and overlapping functions, emphasizes teamwork, and improves transparency in decision-making, GAO has established itself as a model federal agency and leading professional services organization that remains focused on supporting the Congress in meeting its constitutional responsibilities to improve the performance and accountability of the government. GAO is headed by the Comptroller General. He is supported by the other members of the Executive Committee, including the Chief Operating Officer, the General Counsel, Gary Keplinger, and the Chief Financial and Administrative Officer, Sally Ann Harper. The Executive Committee meets regularly and makes key policy decisions related to GAO's internal operations. Most GAO staff work in the mission teams, shown at the bottom of the chart. There are 13 mission teams in GAO. These teams are responsible for conducting reviews on behalf of Congress and the American people, and are organized by issue area, such as healthcare, physical infrastructure, and education. GAO has a number of staff offices that support the mission teams, including the Office of Congressional Relations, the Office of Public Affairs, the Office of Opportunity and Inclusiveness, the Office of Quality and Continuous Improvement, and the Office of Strategic Planning and External Liaison. The Office of General Counsel has both support and mission responsibilities. GAO also has an independent statutory Office of Inspector General. All GAO staff are assigned to a band, which indicates level of difficulty and responsibility within their pay plan. There are 5 pay plans organized by occupational grouping and career path, and each band has its own minimum and maximum salary ranges. Staff performance is assessed against competencies that reflect skills and abilities needed to meet organizational goals. About 3,100 people are employed by GAO. 3/4 of these employees work out of GAO's headquarters in Washington, D.C. The rest are located in GAO's 11 field offices.
As with any organization, GAO is only as good as our people. Furthermore, we need to be client-focused and results-oriented. As an agency, GAO has generally exceeded the targets we set for all our performance measures, indicating our ability to produce results for the nation. Our work helps the federal government achieve tens of billions of dollars of financial benefits each year and helps improve services to the public and transform government operations. Our client-focused performance measures indicate that Congress values our work. For example, in the past year, GAO's senior executives testified at well over 200 hearings, covering a wide range of topics, including the tax gap and tax reform, U.S. border security, and Iraq and disaster recovery and prevention-related activities. In addition, we have produced hundreds of reports relating to the major issues affecting this nation, such as how the federal government is funding and fighting the global war on terrorism, managing the cost of prescription drugs of U.S. citizens, and safeguarding sensitive information systems to protect citizens from the unauthorized use of their Social Security numbers, passports, and other personal information. In these and other areas of our work, millions of average Americans benefited from our recommendations that were subsequently implemented by various agencies and the Congress.
Consistent with the core value of accountability, GAO reports annually on its performance as measured by a number of key indicators. GAO uses a balanced scorecard approach to measure performance by tracking 4 sets of measures: results measures, client measures, people measures, and internal operations measures. For example, in the area of results, GAO measures financial and non-financial benefits, as well as the percentage of products that include recommendations and the number of past recommendations that have been implemented. Client measures include the number of testimonies GAO delivers and the extent to which GAO provides products to the Congress on time. Some of the people measures GAO tracks include new hire rates, retention rates, and staff development and utilization. Based on an internal agency survey, GAO also tracks 2 measures related to internal operations, including the quality of services that help GAO staff get the job done and the quality of work life. Each year, GAO sets a target for each of these performance measures and reports on its ability to meet them. Data show that, on average, GAO provides the American taxpayer financial benefits in the amount of almost $48 billion and delivers 243 testimonies each year. These data also show that the percentage of GAO's products containing recommendations is, on average, 65%. In addition, on average, 83% of our recommendations are implemented within 4 years. Finally, data show that GAO has a 94% average retention rate, excluding retirements. One of GAO's most significant accomplishments is its return on investment. Over the past 5 years, GAO helped to generate an average of $48 billion in financial benefits, representing a $98 return on every dollar the Congress invested in our agency. This is by far the highest return on investment of any accountability organization in the world. This chart shows the substantial increase in GAO's return on investment over the past 15 years.
We hope that you have found this presentation informative. We also hope that you have a better understanding of GAO and how we make a difference every day.